Okay, it's Friday night between the hours of 9:30 to 10:30, 11 o'clock approximately. It is time for the realest talk in sports. We are called In the Paint. I am your host, Rodney Jones. Ooh, wow, excuse that. AKA Angus Black. What the hell happened here? Uh and we are live, of course, and joining me is the man that created the show, Mr. Mark A. Cunningham. Good evening, Sir Mac 611, as he's known on here as well. How are you today?
Brother, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm
I
chilling.
just
Everything is
listen, man. I like being in social media and trolls troll you and you troll them back and you troll them real good. Please stop. Makes my day.
and also joining us is the mad scientist, my man. And I'm not gonna say your full government. I'll just leave it at that. I'll call you the mad scientist the whole night. He is here. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, buddy?
Doing very well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Hope you guys are having a good night and getting ready for this lovely Memorial Day weekend we're going to have.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, I have to work on Monday, but that's okay. I'll get that double time money. I'll take it. You know. All
Can
right.
you
So,
you you,
gentlemen,
you
huh?
spread love and share with your
No,
brethren
no,
and a
no.
whole something?
I'm no. I'm very
I
greedy.
tried.
Yeah,
See,
nice try,
if
but
mad scientist, if you notice a pattern, I when I hear money, I try. I tried.
I get it.
and
Well,
he
I
he
won't
doesn't
be,
get it though.
unfortunately, I won't be working on Monday, but I will be at not one but two Memorial Day parades because my
Ooh,
my my daughter will be marching in one of the parades with her roller derby team. And in the
nice,
second parade, I have a table to promote said roller derby team. So it's going
nice.
to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, enjoy it, man. It sounds like a blast. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yo, let's get this started. We're gonna get into some sports talk real quick. First thing on the docket: NBA playoffs, conference finals. One, we've already seen one team advance to the NBA Finals, and that's the Western Conference representative, the Golden State Warriors, who took this series 4-1 over the Dallas Mavericks. I'm surprised Dallas got one in. It was probably a gentleman's sweep. They said, we'll throw you one because we want to sweep in San Fran in front of our home crowd. We want that. So props to them. I mean, did anybody really give Dallas a shot?
To be honest with you, I would have given Dallas a shot. If Curry, Draymond, Clay, Wiggins, Poole, if they were all hurt,
Hmm.
that's when I would give them a shot. But this Golden State team, as constructed now, this reminds me of their first championship team.
Hmm.
And this team seems to have an air of destiny around them.
Okay.
And I really do feel in the end that it doesn't matter who's going to come out of the Eastern Conference, whether it's Boston or Miami. I really do feel that this is Golden State's championship to lose. Now,
Hmm.
Boston, if they do, close it out tonight, I think will definitely give Golden State fits. You're
Okay.
talking about the best defensive team in the NBA
Hmm.
as of this year.
Right.
And they have the length, the speed. They match up pretty well. I just
Hmm.
feel that, Curry, Green, Clay, they've been there before.
Right.
6 times they've been there before. So it gives them, to me, a leg up on Jaylen Brown and Tatum and Horford and all of them. The other thing is you look at the coach, and again, this is only based on Boston possibly winning if they close it out tonight. Because if it goes to game 7, to me, it's a toss up.
Yes.
But, if you look at the coaches, Kerr, Kerr
Hmm.
is just that dang good. He really is. And
Hmm.
how will Boston's coaching staff react, being in their first final, as this team is constructed. Boston hasn't been in the championship series since, I believe, 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. It's been 13 years. The players have all changed. We know that.
Yes.
The coaching staff has all changed. We know that. Now, take it to the flip side. Take it to Miami. Say Miami, they come back and win the last 2 games of the series.
Mm-hmm.
The dynamics change a little bit.
Right.
Jimmy Butler, he's going to have a lot to prove. Kyle Lowry, he's been there. He was part of the 2019, Toronto Raptors team that upset Golden State.
Yes.
But I think the wild card in all this is Eric Spoelstra. Spo's been there. I mean, Spo had his own big 3. He won a couple of championships with them. After the big 3 disbanded, times at one point were lean, but this is a guy that always seems to get the most out of his team. There will be no backing down by the Miami Heat. In the end, though, if you look at it roster wise, Golden State can go 8-9 deep. They can play many different types of ball. I don't know. It's just Golden State's to lose.
Well, I would agree with you, definitely. And also, let me just introduce my man, Dom. And thanks for joining us, Dom, for being with us tonight. Appreciate you. Hope all is well. I agree with you. It is the Warriors' championship to lose. They obviously have the talent. Both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively, they get the job done. I give Kerr a little credit. He does a good job for what he does. Did he really build this team? No, but that's a different story in itself. But he does a great job with the talent that he has, on his bench. So I really feel that and I agree with you. Again, if Boston wins, it would be a very entertaining series with them. You understand, to see how it matches up with them being defensively sound, the number 1 team defensively in the NFL, NBA, against offensive powerhouse like Golden State, who's going to come out on top. That's for sure. That's one thing I want to look at when I'm watching that series, if it lines up that way. So it's going to be entertaining. Do I think Boston can overcome it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Nah. The experience that Golden State has, like as you said, I agree. Compared to, the newness of possibly going to the finals or being in the finals with Boston's coaches and the players, I don't know. I don't think they can overcome that. I give Boston credit, though. They've gotten this far. They've played well all year, not all year, but to the point where they turned their season around, and from that point they played well the rest of the year. They and I like to use that word resiliency, because they're very resilient. You know what I'm saying? They were down 2-1, and they just won that 3rd game in Miami, which a lot of people didn't give them a chance, and they did it. So, like I said, man, I just think that Golden State's going to definitely take it. It's their championship to lose. And one more thing, David, your mic is live as well. Welcome. Thank you. So, guys, how you doing? Dave, Dom, how you guys doing, man?
I saw Dave sipping on something.
No red cup. No. What's up, guys? What's some of your thoughts? I'm throwing in somebody's court. Yeah.
I'll take it then. I'll take it.
Okay.
Listen, Dallas, not ready. They don't have enough players beside Luka, and talent always prevails. Golden State is the better team. Like the mad scientist said, they got guys with championship pedigree on that side. Wiggins has proven he fits with Golden State, and he's a problem when he's playing well. Guy is 6'9", has a 7'1" wingspan. He's athletic. He can shoot the three. He can handle the rock. Plays good defense. He replaced what they lost in Kevin Durant. Not saying he is Kevin Durant because he's not as good as Kevin Durant, but he fits in what they need to do. Be the third scorer behind. Well, actually, second scorer because Clay is still finding his legs, but he found them in last night's game.
You sure did.
So he's their other guy to add to that. And now it's a big four, essentially, and a big five. If you look at Looney's been balling out. He's gonna get paid. I hope Golden State keeps him, but then again, if he goes somewhere else, we'll see how good he really is outside of the Golden State system. And Dallas, they just a lot of Luka and a lot of nothing else. Some guys played well at points, and they didn't play well They didn't play well enough the last two games, and that's why they're going home.
You know what's funny though? A lot of people are giving Dallas grief, for the series. Personally, I think making it to the Western Conference Finals this season is more of, I think this was an acceleration. I don't think anybody expected him to make it to the Western Conference Finals. I think everybody expected him to either go first round, second round, because it's this team as constructed right now. This team, what do you call it? This team honestly should not, and I'm being honest, this team should not have made it out of the first round. But they did the work. Now, after this season, pending free agents may look at Dallas in the situation and go, you know what? I could be maybe that missing piece or part of the missing pieces that Dallas needs to go to make a further run. Because let's be honest here. To me, Phoenix, I think their window is closing. Ayton is Ayton through his agent has already expressed extreme disappointment with not getting a max contract. Does he deserve one? No. But, there's the disappointment there. Paul is getting 1 year older. Booker, I'm just waiting for the Kardashian curse to hit the poor guy.
It did. It did.
But, no, I'm talking about even worse. But you also look at Denver. Denver, I really thought was going to be the Mavericks. I thought Denver was going to make a long run. But for the last 3 years, it's been the same thing. One round and out, one round and out, one round and out. And it's really getting to the point where you have to wonder if giving Jokic this mass contract now is going to close the door a little bit on them, with regards to what their cap situation is. I mean, then you got the clown show in Los Angeles, which we all know, is a dumpster fire waiting to happen once again. I mean, no matter what type of talent they have on that team, and the other teams, to me, they're to me, the rest of the teams are middling. I mean, Utah, they have to make a decision now. Is it Gobert? Is it Mitchell? Is it both, or is it neither? Portland is a house of cards about ready to be blown out, especially with coming out today that the Paul Allen Trust has mandated a sale of the team within 6 to 12 months. And by doing so, how much are they going to cut back? Because they gutted that team really bad during the trade deadline. They can gut that team even more, and don't be surprised if Damian Lillard gets traded this offseason. I'm sorry, but with that being said, Dallas, to me, accelerated their progress by making it to the Western Conference Finals. I don't think it was a fluke. They got handed out by a better team. But with, like I said earlier, the free agents are going to look at this and go, man, I can maybe sign a pretty decent contract or maybe a veteran's minimum to go in there, help Luka, and help this team get over the hump in the Western Conference.
Mad scientist, I heard the same thing. I saw an article about that about if can Dallas get a third star, to get another star to play along with Luka, because obviously there wasn't much besides Luka. I mean, you have players, different players in different points of the game, different points of the series. They had spurts of being useful, but for the most part, it was Luka. That was pretty much it from what I'm watching.
I think
If they
I think this series, Jalen Brunson earned his bank. Jalen
okay,
Brunson earned his bank this series to play with Luka.
Well, are you going to give him a max contract?
No, he's not going to get a max contract. The max contract is going to go to Luka when the time comes for him.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's going to make some money
not
somewhere.
a max contract guy.
He's going to make money somewhere, Mac. But I don't think I'm in agreement with the mad scientist. I don't think he gets that max money like that. You don't say, will he get paid? Yeah, he'll get paid. Max wise, I don't think so. If he does, I'll be shocked.
But I didn't mean max money because he's not tiered to really make max money. But
okay.
He's going to get paid.
I'll go one step further. It would not surprise me in the least, and you can quote me on this. It would not surprise me in the least if during this offseason, Dallas makes a major deal with Portland. They have the pieces. They have the pieces.
Okay. That's interesting. You know what I'm saying? That'd be something to see.
Because if you can keep Brunson, keep Brunson from being a part of a deal like that, you get Dame, and you have Luka. There's their version of a big three. Then it's up to Cuban bringing in the right people, to keep this team as a Western Conference contender, not a Western Conference pretender.
I don't think Dame is a good fit for them, though.
The possibility is there. It is there.
Let me hear from Reggie. Of course, your mic is live. You just said you don't think Dame is a good fit for them.
I don't think Dame is a good fit because they're two ball dominant dudes, and I don't see that working. I'm not saying that one can't play off the ball, the other can't play off the ball. It has yet to be seen, but I don't see that as a good fit. Some of the best trades are the trades that are not made.
Me either, Reg. Dame is and they're both bad defenders. Luka was put in the blender constantly in this series. By little players smaller than him posted him up. People were running by him. I tweeted, "Come on, Luka, move your feet." Dame isn't a great defender as well. That's why CJ had to be traded. Partly why CJ had to be traded. They both smallish guards. I think Dame is a little bit better than he's way better than Brunson is overall as a player. But essentially it's two little guys. Hardaway is coming back next year. He had an injury, so
right.
Is he gonna play the 3? Is he gonna play the 2?
I don't know.
And if you keep Brunson, is Brunson gonna still? Is he gonna come off the bench now, or is he gonna start along with Luka like he did most of the season in the playoffs?
Yo, bro, I don't know, but if I gotta rest my hopes on Tim Hardaway Jr., no disrespect, but I don't know, man. I'm not gonna make that bet.
No, it is mad disrespect. Don't worry about no disrespect. It is.
I'm just saying, no matter what he may have done for Dallas this year, whatever the case may be, I'm not putting my last dollar on that dude.
Oh, he's a piece I think they missed because he's a 20 he's a 20 point scorer. He's a guy who makes threes.
Okay. I don't know.
I
I
don't, I,
don't
I
know.
don't,
But
I don't know.
I'm not saying he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because he's
Right,
not.
right.
But
No,
he is
obviously.
he's a guy who can get you 20 points. He does stuff off the dribble. He's another one. He's not a great defender either.
I wanted to say a couple of things. I wanted to go back to Mac's earlier point regarding Golden State and the Wiggins Durant, not comparison, but I think with Wiggins, he fit what they needed. That championship team is built on Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And so Durant, even though Durant is a superstar, all-time great player, it wasn't so much about Durant to me, them being in the positions that they were. It was about those core three. It reminds me of the Yankee dynasties and the core four. Then you brought in other pieces. No matter how great they were, it still was built around those players. And so, removing Durant, as much of a star as he is, and bringing in a player like Wiggins, didn't really, to me, they didn't lose that much. And I know it sounds kind of crazy because, Durant is, you think of the absence of a player like Durant's caliber. But that system revolves around those three when they are healthy. So that's why I think Wiggins works. It allows Wiggins to do what Wiggins does, but the three are the main.
Ooh, what the hell?
I had to mute you, Dom. Dom just messed up everybody.
Oh no.
Okay, this is Dom on two different devices.
I don't know.
So the other part, going back to Dallas, I'm thinking about Mad Scientist made a good point about the expectations. I think they might have been a year ahead of schedule, but I think they're legit. And with a player like Brunson, some players fit a certain team, and they're an impact on that team, but then they get confused as being an impact player. And what I mean is, there are certain players that no matter where they go, their presence is going to be felt positively. There are other players who fit a certain team and culture, and with that, their positives are brought to the front. And so when they take that somewhere else, they get, and I'm not saying Brunson is thinking this way, but we've seen that with some players, and even to the extent of somebody like a Kyrie, who worked well on a certain system, and then when he tried he had a thought that maybe I am the man and I shouldn't be second, and then he goes somewhere else and he blows up where he goes. So some players, I hope that they are satisfied, and it's hard to say because they're professional athletes and they want a lot more for themselves. But sometimes I think there's a satisfaction in being a key piece in a machine, whereas you're not getting an overinflated sense of who you are, and you go somewhere else and then you don't have the same success. So I think he fits that system well, and whether he's going to start next year or whatever, he's fixed that system well. But I don't want other teams like Knicks fans to think, oh well, he is our point guard of the future. Well, let's bring him in.
Just go to Twitter and you will see a lot of wet dreams.
And that's what happens. We see a guy in one system and we think that he's going to work.
Right.
He's going to work for us in our system, and then we don't get the same results.
Wow.
Right. The culture isn't the same.
Right. Just like Knicks fans, I see listen, I don't dislike Frank Nicolina. I don't really. Mm-hmm. I'm neither here nor there about him, but Knicks fans, look, see, he on Dallas. He played 5 minutes. Stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In a role they needed him to play, which he excelled at, which is, listen, I don't want you to do anything else, but I want you to play Give me 5 to 10 minutes of good defense, and don't shoot. I don't want you to pass. I don't want you to do nothing else.
Don't even look at the ball sometimes.
Right, and Knicks fans are acting like he did something extraordinary. I'm like, no.
A lot of times it's not the player, it's the system that they're playing in, the coaching that under.
Right,
knowing how to utilize somebody.
Right, it's the system, and Jason Kidd is utilizing him to where his deficiencies aren't a problem because we're not asking you to do a whole lot. The Knicks drafted you in the lottery, so there's an expectation with that. You're supposed to be the man with being drafted in the lottery. I saw tape on him when they drafted him. I looked at his numbers in France. He wasn't starting in France.
Yeah,
I saw the tape. I was not overwhelmed by the eye test. I'm like, well, he's all right.
Well, when
and everybody. He's 6'6", and he got a 7-foot wingspan.
When they start talking about he's got long arms and things like that, but does he put the ball in the basket? Does he make the people around him? No, but he's got extremely a long wingspan and these kind of things. So they're promoting these. It's like a car salesman. But is the car any good? No, but it's got this radio in here and it's got all this other stuff. Yeah. But can I drive it without having to go to the shop every other week?
Right. And I wanted to say something, David, when you mentioned Golden State. They missed the young James Wiseman the whole year.
That's right.
Now he's an interesting player because he's sort of built like Kevin Durant. He's that type of player. Not saying he will ever be Kevin Durant because I don't think there'll ever be another Kevin Durant, but he's a long, tall guy who can shoot the three, has a lot of ball skills, and is athletic. Imagine if he played this year, but he didn't. So maybe he's sitting back, watching, learning, and seeing. Okay, next year I can do this and fit in.
Let me.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Mac. I just want to see if my man Dom is working. Okay, I heard you just now, so hopefully your issues are fixed.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Got you.
Damn,
we only hear you once.
Damn Verizon commercial. Let me just touch on two things real quick. I think Boston stands a chance because of their defense, perimeter defense especially, and now Boston actually has to check somebody.
They got to check a few people.
Right. Now to what I forgot his name. Who was talking about Denver? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Mad Scientist.
Mad Scientist. Yeah.
If Dallas don't do something, their window might have closed because guess what? Next year Paul George comes back. Kawhi Leonard, hopefully. And when he mentioned Denver was missing 2 of their 5 starters.
Yep.
And 2 of their 5 starters that were hurt. I mean, hopefully Kevin Porter comes back. The 2 that they're missing is better than anybody else Dallas got on their team right now. Nobody on their team is better than Murray and Kevin Porter Jr.
Right.
And if they lose Brunson, their window might have closed as fast as it opened.
Right.
And Luka Doncic proved again, like me and is Bishop on the line?
No, he's not.
Well, you know what me and Bishop said last week. Luka Doncic is the next version of James Harden. Does he make anybody around him better? What did he do last night? 3 for 13 from 3. I mean, damn. After 3 for 8, you think you might have stopped.
Right, and he didn't start playing like I tweeted. I was like, "Yo, he's willing to disappear in that because he hadn't made no shots.
Right,
he wasn't doing anything.
You made me turn the game on, Mark. I wasn't even watching the game. I was like, man, this is over. But I will say this about Dallas: give them the feather in their cap because I thought they would win one game. If they had one game, that would be a feather moving forward, hopefully, possibly, but. That being said, guys, if you really look at that roster, their window might have closed last night.
Listen, they don't have a lot of we got a brother in the group who is a Dallas Maverick fan. Shout out to him. What's up, Dero? they got a lot of guys who aren't. If they were on other teams, they would have other roles and they would have smaller roles on those other teams.
Mm-hmm.
And let's
And-
not forget one thing. When Mark Cuban decided to go in that direction, thinking he was going to lure everybody to the great state of Texas, what happened?
And
will the extra piece of Doncic help? Yeah, maybe.
right,
But he
and
tried this before, remember?
right, and we got to give Jason Kidd credit for doing a
Oh,
good
yeah.
job as a coach.
Yeah,
He did.
without
He
With
did
the
his thing.
pieces with the pieces he had, he made.
Yeah, he did. He did his thing. Listen, let me bring a couple more people in. Our brother Carl, your nephew Dom, is it?
Oh.
Your mic is live. Welcome, and also Reggie is
Nephew
back as
Tommy.
well.
Back.
What's good?
What's good,
good?
Carl? Thanks for joining us, man.
Should be
sure,
in the
sure.
place to be.
What up? I'm hearing all this educated conversation here. I had to, jump in. You guys got me afraid to say anything tonight.
Nah, don't be afraid. Step in. Come on in the pool, brother. Come on
I
in the pool.
I laugh because Mac will know and he'll attest to the fact that I make those jokes about Doncic being the White Harden as well with the way that he plays and the style that he plays. But I think Dallas has been the past couple years, when you really look at it, they've been playing well in the playoffs. Like they gave when they caused Doc to lose his job.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was them that time, but they played well the last couple years, and they played the Clippers really. I think they played the Clippers really tough as well. But the thing is, all of you guys made excellent points tonight about like Brunson being a player that fits what they do, but do you pay him top dollar to keep him because he fits better with you, or does he chase the bag and go somewhere else? Because cap wise, I noticed it was one of the other brothers on here that mentioned something about paying Doncic. Doncic's paid. His extension kicks in next year at like 36 per. So now that starts to get into a scenario where who can you bring in? Because you traded for Dinwiddie, he's making 18.
Okay.
One-dimensional Hardaway's making like 18. So if you can offload these guys to someone, fine. But I kind of think they're at a point where they may have peaked, and it's too bad because I think Kidd did an excellent job with them, but they need something else. I don't know quite what it is. Like looks like what they're trying to do is that that current NBA thing where you get your star player and you kind of get guys that play off him and make shots. But that's that LeBron thing. But with what you saw with Dallas though is you got a bunch of secondary guys you're relying on now to have to make shots. And when Luka has a bad game or off game, you're dead in the water. So it's just going to be interesting to see in the off season that some of the teams, the moves that some of the teams make. I think also you guys made an excellent point talking about how Wiggins is fitting with Golden State. Remember, they ended up trading D'Angelo Russell for him, and everyone's known that it's in there with Wiggins. It's there. But now he made the difference this year because he came out, he played D on Doncic, and then he just uses athleticism. And he never looks like he cares, but he can ball. So I mean, it's man, I just think it's Golden State's year. And in all honesty, if in retrospect, I really, if I had to pick a team that I wanted to go against them, it probably would have been Milwaukee because they're gonna wash anybody else. They're gonna wash Philly. Anybody else that was really coming out of the East, and everybody was all excited about that Phoenix matchup. And no pun intended, but the sun setting in Phoenix. You guys mentioned Chris Paul was old, Aiton's pissed off, and Golden State would have beat them in like 6 games, maybe 5.
Right. So Paul, if you're Phoenix, do you pay Ayton or do you let him leave?
Well, you stuck because you gave Paul the money.
Right.
So it's like you gave Paul the money, and I don't know if Booker is. I got to check and see if Booker's under contract or if he's got a max deal coming. But honestly, when I see Phoenix, I think Monty Williams is a good coach, and they got guys that fit in their system. But when I the past couple of years, when I kept looking at them, and I'll be honest with you, I kept saying, "How are these guys doing it? How are these guys doing it?" And they made it to the finals. And you have your window, and I believe that was it for them last year. You guys made a point about Denver having guys coming back. Yeah, Denver's underachieved, but you got to understand, when has Denver had a healthy roster in the last 3 years?
Right.
So I mean, it's just a lot of variables. But I mean, everybody's
Booker signed. Booker
I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
Booker is signed. He
signed?
He signed a 5-year deal in 2018.
Okay, so but yeah, so now you got to make the decision if you're gonna sign Ayton, but then you still hamstrung because you're gonna have all that money tied up in Chris Paul. Y'all paid Paul for the championship you didn't win.
Here's the funny thing.
It was a gamble, and he made them well. Go ahead, Don.
No, but here's the funny thing to what Carl is saying. If you look at the numbers, only 5 teams did not pay the luxury tax. So it depends on how far you want to go in. There's only 5 teams, the Knicks being one of them, that did not pay into the luxury tax. How do you think the Lakers, though they had a bunch of journeymen, they had 3 guys making almost $120 million in itself?
Well, that's the dumb G.
Yeah, but my point is, Mark, you can do it because how many teams are in the league? 32? 27 of them did it.
The Lakers are a team who, them and the Nets, the Nets have been in the luxury tax, I think, the last 3 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother them because they got 2 guys who own the team who are billionaires. So,
but as Uncle Dom is saying too, you can do it, but it's what you choose to spend the money on.
Right.
And
how you spend
it, and then how you can build around the roster. And the Lakers paid the money to like 2-3 guys, but they thought that scraping everybody else together, they were gonna have that last hurrah, and it just didn't work out.
To Carl's point with Brunson, is it going to be money over a role? Does he want? We had this conversation last week, I think, guys. Does he want to be the point guard and not be a part-time point guard or a guy that just gets the ball when there's 5 seconds left? I mean, he got a lot of thinking to do, because Dallas, again, they could go over the luxury tax if they wanted to, or try to move Dinwiddie. But I'm just curious of what direction Brunson wants to go, not Dallas. I'm just stuck on that right now. He's 26 years old.
What
first big payday.
What teams would he fit on?
Well, he's got a connection with the Knicks. Not saying the Knicks will get him, but he has a connection with the Knicks.
His dad played for him, didn't he?
Yes.
And the GM was his dad, and the GM was his dad's agent.
Right, and his agent is now Rose's son. So I'm not trying to play. Yeah, I'm not trying to play X-Files here, but
it ain't hard to tell.
Right, some of the stars are aligning, but take the Knicks out the equation. Is there a team that needs a point guard, or does he want to stay playing second fiddle? Because we ain't the smartest 7 people in America. We see the direction Dallas is going in. I mean, does he want to continue to do this? And guess what? He's going to get a 4 to 5 year contract. That makes him 30. And his next contract may be, and he might be stuck in obscurity in Texas. I mean, the good thing is, he could take $3-4 less million to stay in Dallas and make as much as he would have made in some other states that have a state tax.
Right.
That's another thing. But I just think he wants a different role.
How old is Brunson?
26.
Okay. Well, he's too young for the Knicks.
Well, not really.
Yeah,
Dave.
but is he even a point guard though?
They have all the young players in the world that they don't want to parlay into something.
Yeah, but I mean, they drafted those. I'm talking about getting somebody.
Right, Reg. What is he then? Because he ain't a
I think he's an undersized too, personally.
Yeah.
Because I can't really see him running the team.
And Reg is making a good point, because sometimes you see guys in a different light when they can play off a really good player. So Doncic is the focus. So when you got this cat Brunson coming up and he's got to run you in your offense and run your team, we don't know if he can do that.
Exactly.
He's played well in spurts, and and he's probably made himself some money, which is good for him. But then you just got Doncic that's like, hey, I'm coming into the game. You already know this guy's laying 27 points and like 9 assists and 8 rebounds on you from jump. So you watching out with him, so you can run around and get you can get off because you playing off somebody like that. But when you come here, they're gonna be like, yo, what happened to that dude that was in Dallas?
That was in Dallas.
But
Hold on.
let's not forget the 3 games that Doncic didn't play, and he was the point guard. He averaged damn near 30 points, and they went 2-1. Now, you might say it's a sample size, but let's go back. This guy won Player of the Year, 2 national championships. At what position?
Point guard. Yeah.
That means nothing, bro. That means absolutely nothing. I don't care what you say. Because if he does come to the Knicks, who are they going to focus on?
Well, listen, he would have to play differently. Here in New York, as
opposed to Dallas.
Randall.
He ain't gonna be pass. He's not gonna pass it to Randall and RJ to miss shots. He taking it to the hole.
That'll work for me, Carl.
Mad scientist, go ahead. I see you got your hand up. You had your hand up. Go ahead, boss.
We're all forgetting one thing when it comes to the New York Knicks.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
The head coach. Is he a Tom Thibodeau? Is Jalen Brunson a Tom Thibodeau guy?
No.
We know what happens.
Good question.
Not a Tom Thibodeau guy.
Here's what I heard. Not to cut you off, scientist. Here's what I heard today. If the Knicks didn't have Thibodeau, Brunson wouldn't even think of it. There's some kind of tie between him and Thibodeau, too.
Does he play deep is the question.
Dom, with all due respect, there might be some sort of connection. The first time that Jalen Brunson screws up an assignment or has like 1 or 2 bad games in a row, he will either be benched, his minutes will be cut. It doesn't matter. Look at what.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, Thibodeau has a habit of grinding his players down to a fine grain of salt. We know that.
That is true.
We've seen that.
Facts.
All it takes are for players to be completely.
Who's got the lounge music?
Thought that's
Lounge.
X-Files.
That's the X-Files. I'm like, what the hell?
I mean, if you want me to be quiet, I'll be quiet.
No, please continue. Please, you're making an excellent point, man. Please continue.
No, please.
So Thibodeau will grind your players down to a fine grain of salt. We saw it happen in Chicago. Chicago was a contender. Once the players couldn't take the mind games anymore, that they got tuned out and Thibodeau was shown the door. His first year with the Knicks, he made them into contender. This year, it seemed like the players started tuning him out. Julius Randle went like this. Cam Reddish, who was doing okay in Atlanta, was a focal point in the deal that was made. As soon as Thibodeau was like, I can't find any minutes for you. Who in your right mind says you can't find any minutes for Cam Reddish?
I hope I get a chance to rebut this.
Became the last man on the bench.
Well,
it's gotten to the point, unless Thibodeau brings this team back to the playoffs, I don't know if he's going to be the head coach after this coming year.
Well, let Dom go. Because he wanted
to the scientist's point, this myth about Thibodeau, you could have it, you could believe it, whatever. But you look at Kemba Walker was not his choice. He forced Kemba Walker upon him. And for those of y'all that don't live in the great state of North Carolina, we saw the wheels coming off Kemba Walker 3-4 years ago. We saw it. Boston saw it. OKC saw it. Everybody saw it except Leon Rose. Okay, we'll forgive him for that. But to keep this narrative about Thibodeau, again, R and Max and all the numbers guy. The Knicks lost 361 games before they got Tom Thibodeau. So now, if you want to play the wheels on the bus, go round and round with the coach, we did that too. 5 coaches in 7 years. Again, whether you like him or don't like him and players tuning out, that's a player issue. Because there's plenty of coaches that won't let you do that, that make you earn your minutes. Jimmy Butler will tell you that. Joakim Noah will tell you that. Luol Deng will tell you that. The players that he coached learned how to play under a certain system. The Knicks front office decided they wanted to upset this apple cart. They wanted to go from defense and wanted to get into analytics and try to outscore everybody. So you went from the number one defensive team last year to a team that thought you were going to outscore people with no scorers. So you think about the position he was put in, and then say to yourself, you know what? There's somebody above him that's making these moves who I have little to no confidence in. And losing Mitchell Robinson for nothing, if this happens, will be another nail in their coffin, because you saw the handwriting on the wall with that. You didn't try to extend him. You didn't try to trade him to get some kind of chip for him. And here they are again. They are right now, after 3 years, they are an inept front office. Don't tell me about their draft picks. That just means we have great scouts. He didn't come here to get us draft picks. So he said, not Dominic, he said, with his big, I was an agent. What free agent has he gotten? Please, what trade has he got? Don't bring up Cam Reddish. Everybody in America knew Atlanta was trying to deal Cam Reddish. He was the
and the
odd
Knicks
man
were
out
trying
with
to deal
Atlanta.
not.
Right. And guess what? Nobody else bid in on that. Nobody else went after Cam Reddish. You know why? Maybe a great talent. 4 years, 4 injuries. And when you say Thibodeau didn't play him, he came to the Knicks hurt. How did the front office do that? You came to us with a bad ankle on the IL, and you're making it sound like we were, not you, scientists. People are making it sound like we went out and got Julius Erving. No, we went out and got damaged goods. That's why he didn't play. He's been injured 4 years in his 4 years in the NBA. What did Atlanta do? Guys, I brought this up a million times. Atlanta and the Knicks 2 years ago went into the free agency with the most cap space in the world. Atlanta filled their holes, went to the conference finals. Call it whatever you want to call it. But they filled all their slots. Who was the odd man out? Cam Reddish. Everybody knew he was on the block. How many other teams went after him other than the Knicks? And then the Knicks, in their infinite wisdom and their inept front office, they jump in on it and they get an injured player. Hello. I mean, we could blame Thibodeau till the cows come home, but there's somebody above him that's making some strange ass moves. And how did Reggie Bullock work out for the Mavericks this year?
Play good.
I'm just saying. Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
No. I wanted you to wait. You finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to say that
I just got
to
served.
piggyback on some of your points. Worldwide West is a guy who I've seen rumors that he walked up to the owner and said, you got to fire Tibbs. What you addressed before, I've addressed many times on the show, is that Leon Rose did not listen to the coach and did not get the players the coach needed and wanted and the type of players he wanted. So if you do that, me as the coach, you got me Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker has got 80-year-old knees. I need a point guard who can play defense. Derrick Rose has 75-year-old knees. So we got 2 point guards with geriatric knees. That's not going to work. You went and got Fournier. I like Fournier as a player, but you should have also brought Fournier, and you should have brought back what's his name that's on Dallas now. You should have brought him back as well, because he was part of the glue to this team last year. Bullock.
I would have took Bullock over Fournier. You would have saved you some money too.
Right. And as the coach, as the GM, you have to listen to what the coach needs, not just go get what you want.
Y'all
got to be on the same accord. Go ahead.
I will admit this, and it might have been an accident. I think Fournier having that explosive first game, people thought he was Jerry West. But you know what? At the end of the year, look at Fournier's career numbers, and look at what he did this year. He is what he is. 13, 14, 15 a night. He'll get you 40% from three. Matter of fact, I think he set the record on the Knicks for the best 3-point percentage in the Knicks history. So he gave you what he was supposed to give you. to Reggie's point, maybe for a few more dollars or too many dollars, but he is what he is. So, in other words, guys, without beating the dead horse, you did not improve from being a 4th seed coming into this season. When, again, you've had 361 losses before Thibodeau. You get a winning record. You make the playoffs for the first time in 8 years, and you upset the apple cart. And now we're going to go back to Tom Thibodeau, Julius Randle shooting the bird, and we're going to skip over the morons that did all this nonsense.
Yeah,
That's the front office.
And Uncle, you've been saying this. You've been saying this for a minute. You've been beating the drum from when they came aboard. So they had cap space, and then when they had cap space, the answer to that was to bring in Kemba Walker and then bring in a tertiary scorer like Fournier. Like he's not even like your first or second. He's like the 3rd or 4th scorer on the team. So I don't know what their move is, but as in typical backstabbing mode that happens now, the wheels are about to come off because they're gonna try to get rid of Tibbs before anything. They're not gonna take any blame.
Oh, Carl.
No.
What happens with teams? They don't. I mean to cut you off. They don't. The GM isn't gonna fire himself.
No.
So this is Rob Pelinka the second.
Yeah, exactly, Reggie. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, they're gonna try to stab Tibbs in the back, and it's just a shame because when you look like I'm befuddled at something that Dom said. Like, what were y'all doing with Mitchell Robinson? Like, if you weren't gonna extend him, someone would have traded for him.
For sure.
Yeah, and I don't understand what you held on to him for, and then Reddish is hurt. So if you don't give Reddish a huge role this year, then what do you have him for? Because now he's got to be made a decision on too. Wow. I think he's got a qualifying offer coming up after this year.
Yes, sir.
What did Mitch Robinson really give you though?
Well,
he was better this year.
He about sometimes too. It's about what somebody's value could be. And he's a big man, blocks shots, plays D. He's got a bunch of flaws, but I feel like someone would have taken him off your hands if you said he was available.
But he's injured way too often too.
He is, but I'm thinking. But my thought process is, if you had no plans for him, roll him out there. Hey, Mitch, don't get hurt, and then trade him. Somebody would have taken big man.
Somebody would have traded for him.
Because guess what? Somebody's going to sign him this offseason.
Yep.
Somebody's gonna think about what Reggie said. Then they're gonna scratch their head and say, "Well, he did play a lot of games this year. Okay, if we have a guy that's agile, he can get up and down the court. Hopefully, he learns something from his own YouTube videos on how to shoot, because he shoots really well in his YouTube videos. He just never shoots in the game. But somebody will take a flyer on him, i.e., Charlotte."
And what's that saying about Knicks player personnel development? Who's working with him?
They haven't had any for 20 freaking years.
But you got some people that are crazy with this youth movement, and I'm not knocking it if that's your direction. But don't tell me Obi Toppin is the next Connie Hawkins, Quickly is the next Isaiah Thomas. Come on, when you think about it, and thank God for the scouts, they did give us good draft picks. But name me one of those draft picks that was a game-changing, franchise-changing player. None of them. So
which Isaiah Thomas are you talking about, though?
Yeah. The real one.
Don't disrespect Isaiah. That one. Don't disrespect that Isaiah Thomas. Stop it.
Nothing against the other one. But again, you went into all of this knowing where you were last year, and to do a total 360 front office, not Tom Thibodeau. He's not making the move. You did a whole 360, and you went from a 4th seed to an 11th seed. And guess what? I did the math with somebody. Look at every team above the Knicks from 1 to 10. Every one of them have a bona fide point guard, except the New York Knicks. Every one of them. Matt had a better record than the Knicks.
Well, Matt, remember draft night? I mean, even though Toppin fell to them, remember who I told you I wanted?
Don't say Halliburton. I'll turn this shit off. Halliburton. Shit off right now.
Halliburton.
But here's the strange thing. Here's the strange thing to what Carl just said. Even after that FUBAR, who was on the market to get traded this season?
Halliburton.
Halliburton.
But it's Sacramento.
You ain't got no plans as of now to the trade deadline. You have no plans on extending said Robinson. Halliburton is dangling out there. Let's make a wrong or right. I would have threw in Mitchell Robinson and Obi Toppin just to say, oops, we made a mistake. And guess what? Here's the weird thing. Indiana, I said this to y'all during the trade deadline. Indiana was having a yard sale. They came out with a better team than they had before the yard sale.
That's true.
How do you do this? How do you do this?
Do you think? And then I think Brogdon might have been available if somebody would have made an offer.
Yeah, I was just about to mention him. These are the guards that I see the Knicks could possibly afford, could possibly trade for. Brogdon is one.
Brogdon will work out with the Knicks, man.
Right,
he will work out with the Knicks.
Little Brunson.
I'm not sold on Little Brunson.
Me neither. There's a couple other players they could get.
I'll give you a good one. He ain't a free agent, but you could get him, and you could get him on the cheap, and you'll have him for 2 years, and he's 21 years old.
Colin Sexton.
Kevin Porter Jr.
Okay.
He might be too wild for Tibbs, though.
Well, here's the thing. He's not 19 years old when he was doing all that bonehead shit. 16-6. When's the last point guard the Knicks had averaged 16-6? And here's the strange thing. Again, trade deadline time. Houston's already knowing they're getting a good pick. The Knicks could have gave them, because guess what? Cleveland got rid of him for a bag of chips. The Knicks could have got him for a bag of chips and some sour cream. And the Knicks did nothing. And they did nothing. They sat there and said, we don't really need a point guard. No, not us. After 25 years, we don't really need a point guard. We got Kemba Walker. Okay.
Time out. I'm
sorry, y'all.
It's all right. Y'all kill me, man. You know what I'm saying?
But Uncle's on the roll. He's on the roll.
Dom is on fire now, Carl.
He is on the roll, but
it's sad though. It's sad.
It is sad. I gotta stop this for a minute because I gotta get to the other segments here, man. Y'all, I love you guys, but I gotta switch gears, man. I gotta go to the other side, man. I gotta get to this. I have to get to this. Okay.
We talked about it though.
We did.
Yeah, we.
Well, why are you switching?
Mad Scientist brought that. He spoke about it. We glossed over it. We talked about them.
I want some overtime, Uncle Dom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, how about this one? Darvin Ham named the new head coach of the LA Lakers. What are some of your guys' thoughts about this?
God bless him.
That's one of LBJ's peoples.
Mm-hmm.
God bless him.
That's one of LeBron's peoples. So maybe
I think scientists trying to weigh in.
No, he was giving the God bless you.
I just gave Darvin Ham to sign it across.
I think Pastinka listened to LeBron this time. What he needs to do now is go get Buddy Hield, stupid.
It's amazing. You know, it's amazing. Mark brings that up because I saw on social media someone posted this maniacal 4-way deal in which somehow Buddy Hield comes to the Lakers. I don't remember where I saw it exactly because it was like early in the morning, like 6:30 in the morning. So I'm not going through the last 15 hours of a social media feed just to find something. But it was a deal. It was the Lakers and 3 other teams, and Buddy Hield's name came up, and somehow Buddy Hield ended up on the Lakers. And I said to myself, I go, if somehow, some way, the Lakers can pull something like that off, God bless them.
Well, they stuck with Westbrook's atrocious contract.
But mad scientist, was it one of those like where you could see it on the ESPN trade machine where they match the salaries, or was it like 2K where you could just put the player on the other team?
I would say it was a combination of both because I couldn't even understand how the deal was made. I saw names on there. I'm like, how? I mean, granted, it was even before I had my first cup of coffee when I saw this thing. So, I mean, you wake up and you're looking at your feet and you're reading and you're like,
on behalf of Carl and Dave, I'm not going to get winded. But I'll just say this. The deal you hear about never happens. Every trade deadline, we hear all the talking heads saying R's going to Milwaukee, Max is going to Boston, and at the end of the day, a trade comes out of nowhere, and all the shit they talked about never happened. Never once happened. Buddy Hield could have been a Knick. He could have been a Knick. Not to get back on the Knicks, he could have been a Knick. Is Buddy Hield. I don't believe none of that. I hate to say that because think about every trade deadline. You hear about all these trades, and who heard about Sabonis going to Sacramento and Halliburton going to Indiana? I didn't hear it, but it happened.
I'm gonna say this last thing about the Knicks because I'm really piggybacking because, like I said, Uncle Dom's on fire. But the Knicks look like that family member when you sitting at the cookout or the family reunion, you playing spades, and they be telling you all the books they got, and then you be like, "Man, what the hell? You ain't have nothing." As soon as they holding their hand, and you be trying to work out what your books are, and you be like, "Yeah, well, I only got 5. Yo, I got like 7," and then they don't even get 1, and you look and you be like, "Yo, your hand, you overvalued your hand. You just really had, you thought you had more than you did." And maybe that's what's at play here. Mad scientist, we see you, brother.
Raise your hand if anybody saw this coming with Darvin Ham being named the LA Lakers head coach. Because to me, this came out
actually, I heard the name.
Yeah.
I heard his name a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think it was serious.
I didn't think it was serious either. To me, this was like this one came out of left field because I really thought they would wait until after the finals were over to do like a really headlong search. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, this is baptism by fire for your first head coaching job.
Rookie coach, that's right.
But
LeBron,
that could be a good
Westbrook,
thing.
He's been on the bench for a very long time.
Yeah, that could be a good thing.
He has been on the bench for 10 years.
It could be.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
I mean,
look at you.
Unfortunately, it's the Lakers with all the hoopla,
chaos.
If it was any other team, fine. But the Lakers, that's why I said God bless them.
One good thing. What you won't see Anthony Davis in street clothes because I think Ham will punch him in his face.
You know what I found kind of interesting about this story. It was I learned about this transaction while watching before the final started tonight.
You text me.
And I texted you. But the funny thing is, when the story broke, I saw Mark Jackson. I could have sworn
I saw his facial expression.
I don't know. I could have sworn I saw a tear starting to well up in the corner of his eye.
Oh no!
It's really funny that we spoke about this on Monday,
right?
And I was personally pontificating about Mark Jackson possibly being the guy, and when this came down today, I just sat there. I literally was like, "Who?" I mean, really, when Darvin Ham's name was mentioned, the first thing that I said was who? I mean, I knew he would look. I knew he was the assistant coach on Milwaukee, and he was very successful. But this was just like Mark said. It was mentioned to me in passing like a week ago that his name came up. But this kid, when the announcement came down,
right,
I was like, okay, either two things happened. He blew him away during the interview process, or Genie Bus was like, just get me a body.
But what did I tell y'all about Mark Jackson Monday?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
What'd you say about
Geographically,
Monday? What'd you say about Mark, Uncle?
because of the geographics. The spin that Mark Jackson put on, without getting into all of the letters of the alphabet with the L and the G and the B and the alphabet group. California, I don't care what team it was. Would no team in California take a flyer on him? Not with the way that group runs things. There's no knock against them. Please, if anybody's watching, don't shoot me no Me Too shit. But geographically, California was off the table. I said that Monday, guys. Remember?
Yes, you
no
did.
way in hell nobody in California is going to try Mark Jackson.
Dom, I want to ask you this quickly, though. Taking away California, do you think after the story from NBC Sports that came out a couple of days ago pretty much put the blacklist on Mark Jackson as a coach in the NBA?
I think
the feeling about this now.
The blacklist was put on him the day Golden State let him go by a certain community. No shade. They do yield a lot of power. That blacklist was created that minute he got fired. When shit started coming out, and remember, guys, I told y'all the president of basketball operations for Golden State happens to be in that community.
Yep.
Who was getting ready at that time to get married to his said partner.
Right.
So when that happened, the only hope I could have ever had for Mark Jackson was possibly a place like OKC, maybe Charlotte, the Bible Belt where they,
What about Utah?
Utah's getting ready to say that.
Utah.
It couldn't have been City, California, not Chicago. I knew that right from the get-go. So when they was talking about him with LA, I was like, what I tell y'all last week, guys? No way in hell.
No. Yeah.
No way.
So I guess New York would be out too.
Exactly. That's what I said. New York,
I'm going to say this right now, though.
Okay.
After the story came out, after what Dom said, on Monday, it all to me it all makes perfect sense. But the NBC Sports expose wasn't really a story; it was more of an expose. And what I saw came out, during his time in Golden State, I was like, okay. Now, is OKC? I don't think is going to touch him. Chicago? I don't think anybody's going to touch him. I think Dom hit it on the head.
Did that story also mention about his
religious beliefs? Yes.
No, not his religious beliefs. What happened with him? There was a escort hooker prostitute who was extorting him. Was that in the story as well?
No, that was not in the story. The only thing
he has some bad. He has a lot of bad things that happened while he was in Golden State. And I'm not. Hold on. I'm not condemning him, because you can do something and be better.
Right. But
y'all hired Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups has a rape case against him.
Yeah. Mark Jackson
came back out again.
Yeah, but, Mark Jackson could have went in the locker room and sprinkled holy water on everybody, and nobody would have said a word.
Right.
Crossed that proverbial line.
Right.
They didn't care about religion, his color, or hooker,
right.
nephew Carl. They didn't care about nothing except that line he crossed and that community in which he was in. You're done.
Right.
You're done.
So religion and infidelity is something we could live with.
Yeah, exactly. Infidelity. He should have been. He could have been hired as the coach of the Lakers right away with the infidelity. He was in the right place.
Or so my question in the NFL. I mean,
my question
is this: a career in the NFL.
He can't be a head coach, but he could be on national TV calling games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what? You know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is,
you could be close to the game, but you can't be in the game.
You know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is, what do you call? Someone mentioned the NFL. And I was
Oh.
like, you know what? You can murder somebody and they'll hire you in a heartbeat.
Wow.
Dave,
Mark Jackson
I see the
would've
look
fit
on your
right in.
face. Dave, I see the look on your face, and you're like, you're damn right.
Yeah.
You 100. Mad scientist, you're 110% correct. You know why? Look at it this way. Look how time always passes, right? It's been almost 8 years since he coached in the league.
Yep.
Right.
And all of a sudden, this stuff resurfaces. It seems like, he can be at the 7-Eleven and somebody can hear that he's gonna get a coaching job, and all of a sudden, the dudes behind the counter, oh, we heard this and that about you. It's like they're gonna bring
Take
everything
his
out of the
Slurpee back.
woodwork to make sure that he doesn't get another job.
Carl, to
But the
me,
weird-
I think what do you call it? It's sad to say, but I think it's a concerted effort by the ownership, especially the Golden State ownership, to make sure that Mark Jackson never sees the light of day as a coach in the NBA ever again.
And I think
the worst thing about there is and I'll give you and I'll also give you a correlation. And Dom, I think you might actually agree with me on this. Look, no, I'm serious. Look at the NFL. Look at what happened with John Gruden. All these emails came popping out of the blue, and John Gruden, was let go. Gruden went to court, sued the NFL. The NFL, of course, in their infinite wisdom, was like, "Oh, we'll get this dismissed. We'll take this to arbitration. No worries." The judge looked at the NFL and went, "This is going to be litigated." Now, it wouldn't surprise me in about, say 2 weeks that this thing is settled out of court quicker than you could say boo, because do you think that the NFL powers that be want to be deposed and have everything go freaking public on them? No.
Not again.
No,
not again, right, Dave?
I'm supposed to say this.
Dave said not again.
Yeah.
Well,
If John Gruden can do that to the NFL ownership, what makes you think that Mark Jackson can possibly think in the back of his mind right now that although it is out there via the NBC Sports and all the other sports outlets about what he did, he can come back and say there's some sort of like shenanigans going on behind the scenes.
They don't care.
It's 8 years.
They don't care. He crossed that line.
Listen,
he crossed that proverbial line.
Listen. We're talking about Mark Jackson, and you said John Gruden, right? Everybody know where I'm going with this one. Okay, so now, again, I'm far from racist, but it's what it is.
Wait, does he have the complexion for the protection? Are you saying that, sir?
Gruden will get another job before Mark Jackson ever will.
He probably will. But in Gruden's defense, though, Gruden wasn't even working for the league. Bruce Allen and them told on him. It's like, how you investigating somebody else? You trying to catch me up and jam me up, and then I'd be like, oh, Mark,
they got to get somebody. Somebody got to be the fall guy.
But do you
think about it? Think about how that cover up happened, because now the NFL didn't want to disclose anything that happened with the Washington investigation, but Gruden's the fall guy. For stuff that he wasn't even.
Carl, that's the beauty of it. The beauty of it is the NFL shot itself in the foot 20 times over. They went after Gruden, and all of a sudden, this whole thing has mushroomed to the point that we may see the Donald Sterling treatment given to Dan Snyder, and it would make everybody, including myself, a very happy man if Dan Snyder is no longer a football owner.
Not gonna happen.
Can I chime in?
You know how hold on one second, Rich.
Okay.
You know how we always say rewind. Don't
Yes.
make me pull up a tape that we
Pull up
had
a tape.
this conversation when Gruden got caught. Remember, I asked y'all for the rest of the emails.
Yeah.
Stop that Gruden. Okay, we got our target, but you never heard nothing else.
No.
I think the one thing that's hurting Mark Jackson is every year a coaching position comes up. Every year his name is mentioned. Every year he's on television. So for those that are totally against it, they're constantly seeing him. They're constantly hearing his name. And at the end of the day, come August, September, when all the coaching jobs are filled, there's Mark Jackson still sitting there.
Yep.
But let me ask you,
Get
Dom.
Gruden and disappeared, maybe, possibly.
Dom, but let me ask you something. If and guys, I don't know if I'm going to be stepping out of line on this one. If Mark Jackson is always out there on TV, why didn't ESPN fire him on the...
Stop right there. You don't even got to say no more. ESPN has no moral fiber.
Yeah.
We're talking about Disney, though. That's Disney.
Yeah, exactly. But see, this is the thing about ESPN. One, they're in bed with the NFL, who has no moral fiber. So they actually inherited no moral fiber. Look at the buffoons they got on ESPN. It's a bad example, scientists. Trust me. ESPN, ABC, Disney. But then again, like I always say, guys, ESPN has been constantly losing money, constantly losing ratings. But all Disney got to do is put out a Marvel movie and make all that damn money back.
There you go.
That's true. That's true.
Sounds true to me.
Can I backtrack a little bit? Can I backtrack a little bit?
What you want to backtrack?
I'm sorry.
What you want to backtrack to?
The Mad Scientist has some animosity towards Daniel Snyder for some strange reason. Could that be anything to do with Kirk Cousins?
Oh, shut up!
Oh, wow. Damn.
He should have re-signed him, right?
Take that.
He should have gave him the long.
All I know is Kirk Cousins played Daniel Snyder like a fiddle, like Charlie Daniels, to the point that he drove him to my team.
Well, that's your team's fault. Listen.
I'm sorry, Nick. My bad, Nick.
Right?
My bad, Nick.
It's okay. But with regards to, it seems to me though that the NBA, they keep this at its best. They can keep the straight and narrow when it comes to like the head coaches. They're not, they're not going to bring in somebody that said something in a derogatory manner, to a community. Mark Jackson's going to pay his penance, and that means possibly he will never become a head coach in the NBA again. Will it be on the sidelines as an assistant? We don't know. Nope. But we already know Mark Jackson is not going to. Mark Jackson, he's not going to demean himself to be an assistant for anybody.
He's not.
To him, he's resigned to the fact that he's probably going to be an NBA analyst for the rest of his career.
Right.
He's got a very nice cushy job. His mug is always going to be on TV, and he'll make his pretty penny. Breaking down the game that way.
And maybe he would only get an opportunity if the current ownership group of the Warriors somehow sold him, which I don't see happening in the foreseeable future.
Or if he issues the greatest mea culpa of all time.
But I think also to Nick's point with Mark Jackson is Mark Jackson is actually benefiting in a way that everybody else is talking about. Yeah. So he's on TV, he's making that money, and his name is always in people's mouths when these positions come up. So then it becomes, well, it's not me, it's them. Because everybody else is saying, how come Mark didn't get this job? How come Mark didn't get considered for that?
That's right.
He doesn't have to promote himself.
That's right. He's not politicking. That's right.
Nope.
Right.
Exactly.
And meanwhile, but he's not sitting on the side not getting paid. He's also getting paid very well to be on TV and talking about all the other coaches in the league. So it's a win for him in that regard if that's the way he's taking it.
If the Charlotte Hornets don't reach out to him, then I know his career is totally over.
Hey, Mike D'Antoni is the front runner for that job.
You always can make a comeback. If Mark can bite that lady and come back, anybody can come back.
Yep. Exactly.
If he'd have bit somebody from that community, he wouldn't have came back.
Well,
Is
you
that-
know,
I'm just saying.
I heard
There's
Charlotte
a
was going to
common-
dig up.
there's a common
I heard Charlotte was
denominator in
going
all
to
this.
dig up Jerry Sloan's corpse before they hire
Wow.
Mark Jackson.
Wow.
There you go.
and he did that in Charlotte, Uncle.
Yeah. But remember,
Yo.
if he don't get an interview with Charlotte, his career is over. I mean, his career is over anyway. I'm just
It's
saying.
already over. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make one quick point about
Sure.
the Lakers. I like LeBron. I'm a LeBron fan, but I think what also happens is, and looking at this past year, is when you build around an aging superstar, and I felt like all of their moves that they made were to assist LeBron in getting another chip, because that window is closing for him because of his age. And I think that's the mistake. So everybody that they brought in, from Westbrook to Melo, you bring in these guys who are not young, because the Lakers aren't. I felt like they didn't look at the future. They were looking at LeBron's present. So somebody agrees with me. I don't know. But I just think that until they get off of that, this is what we're going to see with them. Yeah, I just want to make that.
Well, Dave,
I will.
The GM mortgaged the future. He sold off young pieces. He traded away assets. They don't have draft picks.
Brandon Ingram.
He went and you could have had a younger player who wanted to come to the Lakers in DeMar Rosen, but you didn't want to give him an extra year, and he makes $10 million less than Russell Westbrook.
And don't forget, and they could have had Buddy Hield for less than either of those guys.
Right.
I'm just going to rewind the In the Paint show one more time, because Mark and Dave was on the line in September when I said the Lakers put together the best 2018 in the history of basketball. Yep. They just didn't realize it was 2022.
For sure.
Yep. And what
maybe here's the last point I think we should make on the Darvin Ham and the LA Lakers thing.
I was listening to that show. To that show that day. I'm just going to call Dom Nostradamus from now on.
Right.
Yeah. That's what we.
Maybe Darvin Ham will be the coach that will coach Westbrook up and tell him, listen, I don't need you taking no threes. I don't want you to take a three. Do not take a three. Don't take a three.
But
play
Matt,
to his strengths.
He just don't fit though. He never should have been there. I didn't understand it when they made the move. You needed shooting, and then you went and got a guy where you probably could have paid 3 players that filled a role more than getting that one guy that's making almost 40 mil, whose athleticism is leaving him now. Like they, whoever said it made an excellent point. They were just they figured they were stacking up to get LeBron another chip. And everybody thought Barkley was hating when he was saying the Lakers ain't nothing but old. And everybody was getting mad. He had been saying that from day one. He said they are nothing but old. And look what happened.
And the weird thing is, not to beat this last thing, was Russell Westbrook different this year? Then was Russell Westbrook still Russell Westbrook? Got what you paid for.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
What did you think? You thought you was getting Russell Westbrook in Jerry West's body? No, you got Russell Westbrook. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
You got Russell Westbrook in Jerry West's body. It's just that Jerry West is 80.
The Lakers might have been better off bringing West back. They at least would have had some shooting.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Let's move on to the next topic.
Suddenly I got hungry.
Yeah, exactly. How fitting. Zion Williamson cleared to return and prep for 2022/23 season of the NBA. Okay, I gotta tell you. Let me hold on. Hold on, Mac. Hold on, Mac. Hold on for a second. I was telling Mac earlier. Again, before the game started, I'm watching the channel, and they're actually talking about this. Stephen A. Smith, Jalen Rose, Who else was it? I think
Michael
Michael Wellborn was on there. And they're talking about Zion. They were like, "Oh well, after the season this young team had, and I'm so impressed by the play. Imagine if they had Zion. Imagine if they had Zion. Oh wait, imagine if they had Zion." And I'm like, okay, not one of these guys mentioned this guy's possible health. You understand the possible issues that could lead to his downfall, which I believe is going to happen. I don't care if he's not 22. I don't give a shit. You could be 11 for all I care. You are what you are. You're Fat Boy Fresh, as Max 611 just said. Okay, all that's
Carl's joke.
Okay, well, as Carl's joke, but I'm just saying, you already did damage to. Listen, you're fat. You're out of shape. You understand? You got damage to your knees already from the way that you play. Is violent. You understand? Not saying he's violent, but the way he goes about playing aggressively, it's a violent style of play within him. You understand? Dude, I don't expect this guy to be in the league for that much longer, to tell you honestly.
He's got chicken grease in a Gatorade bottle.
You know what I wish? I wish you guys would just give the viewing audience all the jokes y'all cracked on that damn text. And I'll shut the hell up because I couldn't even respond to you guys. I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to nickel in this one. I'm done.
Wow.
And, y'all rewind some of that nonsense.
Hell yeah.
How you really feel.
But I'm just saying, man. So none of these experts even brought that point up, which I'm like, are y'all serious right now? It was comical to me that they left that out.
Hey, the best place for him is Brooklyn, because they got all the vegan restaurants downtown.
Okay, stop.
Wow.
I has never been there, so don't.
And they got all them other restaurants right across the street.
You talking about Shake Shack?
Shake Shack is right next to it's
for
right
all you
across
good,
from
for all you good folks that have been to the great city of New Orleans.
Yes.
Suffering on the eats. He ain't suffering on the eats.
Not at
but
all.
You know what? All jokes aside, you bring up a good point. The way he plays, he correlates to a Derrick Rose with a lot less weight. And we saw what happened to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose played the same way, that violent. And slowly but surely that turned into ow, ooh, ee.
That's right.
And he's never been the same. I mean, let's not forget, guys. Man was hurt in high school. I mean, yes, his sneaker blew out, but again, because of the way he plays and the weight that he carries, it's a. I don't want to wish this upon nobody. He's a kid. I wish him the best.
No.
Don't get me wrong. But unless he changes his game, his eating habits, his workout habits, where can you send him where he won't eat? Utah? I mean,
listen,
but he had to. That sneaker situation. It was as much the violent way he plays, and also the fact that I've never seen anybody that has to unlace their shoe after dinner.
No, man. So all that being said, so let me pose this question, right? So
okay, please.
CJ came and he balled out, right? He looked like he used to be a leader, and Ingram is doing his thing. Would you dangle this guy to see what you can get back? Because if you can get a couple players for him, because somebody would bite on the star power.
Somebody's gonna bite.
And New Orleans would be there. If you got New Orleans another one or two players, because Ingram's the main guy, CJ's doing his thing, and if you got and I thought Willie Green did an excellent job this year.
Yep.
I couldn't believe the coaching job. I was like, Willie Green, like anybody you know named Willie Green, you'd be like Willie Green them, but Willie did a great job. So I just wanted a consensus because I got to bounce in a few minutes to pick my cousin up from the Amtrak. But to ask you guys, what would you do? Would you hold on to Zion, or would you see what you can get for him?
I would see what I could get for him.
I would see what I get.
Here's a good thing in the position New Orleans is in. They own so many draft picks that even if they dangled him and got back, let's say, good players, not great players, but good players. You're looking at a team that got umpteen draft picks moving forward. And they're saying, again, the pundits, This draft isn't that great, though they have 2 picks in the first round. Ironically, they're going to get a pick from the Lakers, and they had a better record than the Lakers. But going down the road, they got draft picks because of Mr. Civilian Clothes, Anthony Davis. So they're in a good position whether they keep him or dangle him, because they got good, and the youth that they have, the quality youth that they have, because they got youth and vets. So if you dangle him or not dangle him, their future is pretty bright just by getting good draft picks, because you could parlay those draft picks. Even if you kept Zion, you could parlay those draft picks to another team and get, like I said, good quality players. You don't need a superstar. You basically got 2 of them, well, 2.5 if Zion plays. They're in a really good position, guys, with or without him.
And Uncle, I'm surprised more teams don't do that. Sometimes when they always go to that allure of the unknown, and sometimes you might be on the cusp and you can get that proven guy that can push you over the top instead of waiting for somebody to develop. You know, so yeah, they can go a lot of different directions. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'll be honest with you, just the simple fact of the allure of Zion and what he brings to the table, I think they would have their pick of where they wanted to send him. You'd have teams chomping at the bit.
But in today's world, the way that, I hate to use the word player empowerment, but if I don't want to go there, if I don't wanna, the bottom line is, like I said, with or without him, New Orleans is in a good position. They're in the same position, but a better team than the Knicks are in. With all the young players that Knicks could parlay, they don't. But let's see what New Orleans does. You're talking about young players, draft picks, and Zion Williamson. Wow.
Man, listen.
Go ahead,
playing team.
No, now you say the funny you say dangle Zion Williamson. You know who I would dangle into?
Who?
Sacramento for Sabonis.
I like that.
And they give you a lot more than Sabonis for him, because the Kings are just like that.
Okay.
And
I mean, I'm just saying from the standpoint of trying to get better.
Yeah.
Right.
New Orleans with Sabonis, that would be crazy.
Can I ask y'all something just off of Zion for a minute? Why did Indiana blow up their team? Why did they get rid of Sabonis and keep Miles Turner? I don't understand that.
Well,
Kevin
both
Pritchard's
of them,
the GM.
Nobody wanted Miles Turner.
Not just that, but they knew they was in a pickle. See, because Reggie brings up a good point. What's Sacramento going to do with Sabonis after next year? His contract is up.
Right.
So here we go with the keep him. Are we not? Let's make a move. Like, again, I hate to keep bringing up my beloved Knicks, but exactly what the Knicks didn't do. If you know Sabonis is in, maybe not, why not dangle him? And then it'll be up to New Orleans to sign him. Let's be honest. New Orleans ain't got extraordinary contract. They could probably offer Sabonis $20 million.
I think Ingram is the only one who's getting top dollar there. He got the max, right?
And Uncle made an excellent point about Indy, because even though they traded for Halliburton, now you still have some flexibility, because you can flip Halliburton again or trade Brogdon, either or.
Because his contract will be up after next year. His rookie deal is almost up.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're in a – I'm just saying, guys, I'm not a New Orleans fan, but I'll tell you what. Remember something, guys. New Orleans started out this season 3-16.
Yep.
Yes, they did.
They made the play-in.
Right.
Without Zion, without all of these guys together for a whole season, and a new head coach. They're on the upside, and that lady that owns them, she already said it. She ain't gonna be shy to spend some money. Just let's keep the people coming to the arena. That's our goal, because we all know New Orleans couldn't do that before. Hence the reason they went to Utah. They couldn't keep the attendance. Now you got a good team. She's willing to build on it. Let's see where they go. I mean, they got a good young team and a good coach.
Right.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: is the GM a good GM though in New Orleans?
Well,
am I the only one on this panel that says keep him? And let me tell you, Let me tell you why.
Mhm.
They made the playing game without him.
Right.
You now have him, Ingram, McCollum, and a vastly underrated point guard in Devontae Graham. I can see this team winning 45-50 next year and making a pretty damn good run with Zion.
I like the other point guard better than Graham. I don't think I watched Graham his whole career in Charlotte. I do not think he's a pure point guard. But that kid they got from New York, matter of fact, I think what's his name, Mark? The Spanish kid from New York.
Calderon.
Alvarado.
Yeah, he
Alvarado.
came in. Remember, guys, when he came in, they shifted another gear. I've watched Graham his whole career. He's a very good shooter. I ain't gonna say great. He's a very good shooter. He never really fit the role as a point guard with Charlotte, hence the reason Charlotte let him walk and drafted a point guard. Again, I watched this guy, good shooter. But I think that Alvarez kid, he brings them to another gear, especially with the type of players they have. He fits in perfectly.
He's an Energizer Bunny.
Yes.
He's a sneaky defender. He could be a little better shooter, but he gets them going when he gets in the game.
Right. When you got guys like Ingram and McCollum on your team, you ain't got to be the greatest shooter.
No.
To be honest. I mean,
No.
and to Reggie's point, if they got Sabonis and you got somebody to go down low and guys to hit outside shots, man.
Well, if they were to try to make a move for Sabonis, I think that they could offer somebody like Valanciunas, and then if they decided their part, like they really in a good position. Like it depends on just what they want to do and how they see the team. You know,
I think also though. I'm sorry, John, but real quick to Mad Scientist's point about keeping Zion. At what point does the risk far outweigh the reward? Because we're talking about hypotheticals. I mean, what will they have just because Zion is clear to return? What are they going to get from him next year? And then will we be having the same conversation a year from now?
And then David, they have to pay him.
That's right.
His rookie deal is up.
So that's the only thing. In a perfect world, and look, I wish the best for the kid. I really want to see him on the court. And I think he's special. But he's not on the court. And at what point do you look at saying, well, last year we could have made this move. Now we put it all in the basket of we're going to have a healthy Zion, and I think there's a hole in that basket.
Okay, I got a question. What do you mean by special with this dude? I'm just curious.
Reggie, he's a special talent.
Yeah, I think
he's
special. How? What does he do? What does he do?
He's athletic. He can handle the rock.
He's a good rebounder.
He's a great rebounder. He scores
Gets to the basket.
inside. Right. He handles the rock in transition like a guard. There's not too many guys his size and that play his position that do that.
Julius Randle does it.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. David Griffin caught a lot of flack when he first got to New Orleans. But I'll be damned if he didn't push all the right buttons.
So Reggie, what's
Davis
your problem?
got 1 million picks.
Right. What's your problem with Zion's game?
Okay. Again, everybody says game is violent with the ferocity that he plays with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if he develops skill with that, is one thing, but I don't think he's developing any skill. I'm not saying he can't shoot because I've seen him shoot, but he doesn't do it constantly. The pounding that he takes, the pounding that he gives himself. Yeah. I'm not even talking about from other people. The pounding that he gives himself, he has to, like we said, he has to change his game around. And once he changes
to lose some weight also.
Well, that goes without saying.
And get in shape.
Reggie, I'm sorry. I think you make a good point. want to ask you this question though. So, are you in the camp of trying to deal him or trying to keep him?
My thing is this: if I could get something that's going to help the team go further, and in my opinion, I think Sabonis is the answer for that team.
So let
That's
me
just
ask you
my
this.
point.
Let me ask you this,
Go ahead.
and I know you mentioned the Kings, and they're a whole different animal when it comes to making deals. But if you were a team trading for Zion, what would be the incentive to trade for Zion, in your opinion?
Okay, one, you got what I think like they just finished saying, you getting expiring contracts, right?
So
I think Zion Williamson is due to get his contract is about due, and Sabonis, I think his contract he has to play one more year, and then he's up too.
So it's
So
just a
now
contract.
with what Zion has given us, or should I say lack of what Zion has given us, why not? Exactly. Let's see what we can get for him.
No, I'm saying if you were the team that the New Orleans was trading with. So if you were the team
Well, okay,
receiving,
for
what would
for
be
Sacramento's sake, and I'm just going to use Sacramento, I guess the name would speak for itself. You understand? They want that star power or something to compete with the Golden State, to compete with LA, to compete with the Clippers. They want a name, they need a name, that's a name.
And Reg is making a good point. Being that it's the Kings, I think they trade the whole damn team for Zion.
Well, see, and that's the thing. See, that's why I said the Kings are a different animal. So outside of the Kings, that means so you're saying really that's the only place that could benefit from having him?
That's the only team that has Sabonis, and I think New Orleans will be a very, very, very good team with him than without him.
So, Reg, my next question, because I do like that move, but do you keep Valanciunas or you trade him?
I mean, there's but so much trading we could do, but
No,
hey,
the reason why I'm asking because
I think they would probably complement each other.
They play them together. Okay, I like that. I like that.
And just think, if you did it now or at the trade deadline, Sacramento, as poorly as they're run, they're not really that into winning. Now they have a piece to parlay if they choose to. If they know they're not going to keep them, then come the trade deadline, they can move them, get this, that, and the other thing, maybe some picks. So, it don't put Sacramento, if we're talking about them, in the ballpark to begin with. But it don't put them at, the gun to their head, because they're probably not going to keep Sabonis, or Sabonis probably ain't going to stay. If you trade him for Zion and you're in the same boat with that, then you got something from New Orleans, because believe it or not, Sacramento would have to ask for something other than Zion, knowing it's a risk. So if they get a pick from New Orleans, they get Zion, they don't keep him, they trade him, they get some more picks, maybe a role player. It puts Sacramento right where Sacramento likes to be, basically nowhere. But are they going to invest 30? Are they going to invest $30-35 million in Zion in Sacramento?
Sacramento ain't trying to do nothing.
And the other thing about Zion, I guess we all need to kind of pose this question: does he even want to be in New Orleans? Because it doesn't seem like he does.
And that's the one. That was the one question I was going. He may not want to be in New Orleans the way he going.
It seems he doesn't. He hasn't played in 2 years. He eaten everything in New Orleans,
and he keeps pushing for New York and this, that, and the other thing to be with his buddy. And
we don't need Fat Antonio McDice.
Yeah.
Why you bring that trade up, man?
Because that's what's going to happen.
Hey, Carl, remember the conversation we had when the Knicks made that trade?
Yep.
Go to your room, nephew.
Man, this dude just gonna get injured.
I'm sending you to your room, nephew. Go to your damn room. Bringing up that shit. That's like bringing up Charles Smith to me.
Hey, yo.
Uncle, I was at that game, man. So,
Wow.
But hey, New Orleans is in a good spot, man. With or without him, that's a good thing for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. We're gonna do some moving on. Here's something. NFL. I know,
Uh-oh.
Dom.
God.
I
Dom,
know,
don't
Dom.
leave us, Dom. Don't leave us.
And don't get mad, Dom.
Don't
Don't
get
leave
It's
us,
mad.
nice
Dom.
out. It's nice outside. It's nice
Colin,
outside.
Well, don't wake up your neighbors with the yelling, screaming, and throwing of things.
I
quarterback
live in a
Colin
very
Kaepernick.
secluded neighborhood.
This gentleman had a positive workout for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders were impressed. But that's about it. I
I'm not
heard.
impressed.
Okay, tell him why you're not impressed, Mac.
Man, get a man a job, man. What's the BS? And while you at it, Mark Davis, go get a haircut, man.
I was just about to mention that. I wouldn't trust anybody that looked like Mark Davis.
Wow.
That's cold.
What is he, 10 with that haircut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I know he didn't even go to Supercuts for that. He went
Listen, I'm
below
gonna
Supercuts.
go back here. I don't know if any of you guys are into the comics and stuff like that, but it used to be a Spawn series on HBO, and he looked like the dude that was like the mass murderer in the last episode.
Wow.
Damn.
Not Spawn.
And if y'all doubting me, y'all gotta go back and check. It's on HBO Max. It's animated.
Okay.
Wow.
Man, Colin needs a job. He's better than a lot of the backup quarterbacks that are out there.
Mhm.
He's better than a few of the starters that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a Facebook chat and dude was like, "Oh, he was regressing as a player anyway. He ain't that much." I'm like, "But here you are commenting on him."
Mm-hmm.
Man went to the Super Bowl. He went to an NFC Championship game. He's 4 in the playoffs. San Francisco fired. However, they got rid of the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh.
It was Balky, the GM, that backstabbed Harbaugh.
Right. Once Harbaugh left, and once the offensive coordinator left, who is now using a better version of Kaepernick and Lamar Jackson because they play similar, and he's running the same system. He didn't have a chance to regress. He was injured, and y'all took. And I asked the dude, so the last 2 years that Colin played in San Francisco, name the running backs and the wide receivers.
If you
I'm
want me
going-
to go ahead and say it, if you want me to go ahead and say it, I'll say it because
Say it.
you know, I'm that guy. I think it was all a dog and pony show. I think Mark Davis wanted to be that guy that said, "See, I'll give Colin Kaepernick a tryout just for the sake of it. I don't think anything's going to come of it. I don't think he's going to get signed. I think it was just let's trot him out there. Let's give the fans what they want, and now we're done."
Yep.
That's pretty much where I'm going with that. Because if it was a positive workout and they were waxing poetic about him, why wasn't a contract signed that day?
Right. And you have great Jarrett Stidham, the great Chase Garbers, and a great Nick Mullins are in your quarterback room with Derek Carr.
Exactly. That's my point. That is definitely my point. If he had that positive of a workout, if he looked that good, tell me, why are you making him walk out that door without his name being signed on the dotted line? Now, it could be that Kaepernick is looking for some extra bank being a backup, or it just could be, as I just stated, a dog and pony show.
Right.
And if it was a dog and pony show, shame on Mark Davis for doing so.
I'd be surprised if it came from Kaepernick where he was asking for something else, because at this point he doesn't have leverage. So I think that, it would be a mistake for him to say, I want to play and I'm not getting an opportunity, and then he's offered an opportunity and then he said, well, I want more. So I think to your first point is that it's probably more in the lines of what you said initially.
I think
Night car.
realistically, I mean, unless he says something, I mean, we've seen the workouts in football, basketball. We've seen this movie before. Until he really says something, then we'll never know. I mean, me personally, I think his ship has sailed. He's gotten older. I mean, when's the last time he played?
2016.
I'm not taking nothing away from. Right,
that's a long time for football.
He's got to be in his 30s by now, right?
Oh, he's
for sure.
Well into his 30s.
But I mean, he should be along the lines of Russell Wilson, right?
35.
Wow, I don't know if we could compare that, but
no. I'm saying age-wise.
Age-wise.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson has a pretty good resume. I'm just thinking, age, time away from the game.
Right.
A workout is one thing.
He's 34.
But then when 34 years old at quarterback. Now, everybody's not Tom Brady. Everybody's not Russell Wilson. We get that. Me personally, with all the other hoopla aside, I just think his ship has sailed. I mean, we just finished talking about NBA teams that's windows have closed. Maybe his window is closed. And again, because of public sentiment, because we don't do anything from the heart no more. We just like appeasing shit. That was this just another appeasing moment that will flaunt him out there, give him a workout to say, hey, we tried. Again, first of all, it's the NFL. So you know how I feel about them. They do everything where you got to have 5 eyeballs to try to decipher this bullshit. But that being said, realistically, maybe it's just that time that we put aside the kneeling and all of that, and somebody just say, you know what, maybe your ship has sailed. Because you guys are right. There's so many teams that probably could have, maybe still can use him. But to what degree? We don't know because he hasn't played. We could have our likes and dislikes about him. But are you willing to take a flyer on somebody that hasn't played? And what you say, Mark? 7 years?
7 years.
7 years, 30-something years old. Just to be a backup, and then you don't know really what you're getting unless you at least, I would say this, I would be more inclined to give the NFL or any team in the NFL a little one eyeball open if he at least made it to training camp.
Or
because then you'll get a feel.
Game.
Right. Let's see that. Let's see training camp, maybe a preseason game, and with real contact, real decision making. And then we can all sit back and say, okay, he's either, we could say, yes, thumb up, he kind of proved himself, or, hey, you know what, he just don't have it. But we haven't seen that in 7 years.
We haven't seen it in 7 years because of the bullshit that they put out there in the first place. He never should have been going from the freaking NFL to begin with.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with you on that. And I think to Dom's point, I think what happens, though, is you can say a guy doesn't have it. Eventually, it's after 7 years or however long it's going to be, you put him out there, and that age and everything is going to get to, and it's going to prove you right. But 7 years ago, he had it, and so I can delay, and then you can put a different version of Colin out there as far as age and everything, and it's going to say, well, yeah, look at him. He can't play in today's NFL. But that let's not forget the fact that they kept him out for 7 years. It's not like
absolutely
he
right.
He went somewhere, he left the game on his own and decided I want to try to come back. If he can't play in today's game, it's because they kept him out of it. And so let's not take our eyes off of that either.
Right. That's a great point, Dave. But again, not to pick sides, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. So now we got to move to where we are now. I would just like to see him make it to training camp, make it to some preseason games, and then we could sit back and say, okay, yeah, he don't have it. Something.
Right.
I mean, we can't go back 7 years. We can't rewrite a wrong.
I agree with you.
But if you're going to at least try to rewrite the wrong, or just give him a shot, let's put away all of that other stuff. Let's say his name was Dave Sanford, and he made it to training camp. He made it to a couple of preseason games. He either showed up or he didn't. Now we got something to look at. Instead of saying, well, 7 years ago he was Johnny Unitas. Well, no, we're talking now, 2022. Let's at least, if you want to, give him a realistic chance. Again, not going in the past, just a regular quarterback trying to make a squad. Let's get that far and then say we can be the judge. We've seen a couple of his games, the team's seen it, blah, blah, blah. But until we get that far, I don't know what else to say. I mean, just give him that chance. If you're really seriously about getting a backup quarterback, not Colin Kaepernick, not trying to rewrite a wrong. If you're looking for a backup quarterback, like all of these guys in the NFL, guys, we watch Hard Knocks and all of these guys come in, don't make the team, whatever the case may be. But he hasn't gotten there yet. So all this appeasing shit, giving him a workout, with a T-shirt on, that looks great for the cameras. But until he puts the pads on and gets out there, gets knocked around, has to make decisions, then we as a public or sports fans, you NFL guys, not me, then y'all can come back to me and say, damn, Dom, he looked good in that preseason game against the Patriots. We haven't seen that. So
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with you, Dom. I mean, like you said, you can't go back. You can't get those 7 years back. That's why it's so frustrating to me, is because we generally live in a society that wants justice. We want these wrongs to be righted, and I don't think that you can with Kaepernick at this point. And it's unfortunate because I don't think we'll ever get that full satisfaction that we've been looking for the past 6-7 years.
Yep.
And that's in any athletics, especially a game like football, it's much faster than it is in a workout.
Yep, exactly.
And as guys get older, you talked earlier in the show about Chris Paul and being 37. Well, when you get to be 37, next year you'll be 39, and then after that you'll be 40. They double. You start moving in dog years at that point. So that time, I think that window, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I think physically, and nothing against Colin, but I think that window is almost shut. And
but we got to take into account 7 years off. He's probably healed from a whole lot of injuries that he did have.
He's healed, but I haven't played football in 20 years.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
That's 20 years, right?
But how good were you then, Dave?
I was pretty decent. But the point is, I get your point about that time off. But in a game that requires a certain type of level, healthily, he may be the healthiest he's been, in many years. But you kind of lose something. And I'm not trying to say that I don't believe that Colin can do it. Let me establish that right now. I don't want to say that, but I also don't want a situation where he is given the opportunity and then it's shown that okay, he's lost a couple of steps, and then they use that against him to say, well, see, he wasn't. No, and this is why we didn't.
I don't think that would be held against him. Listen, if he goes out there, let's just say he goes out there and he doesn't perform. Okay, well, yeah, it's past. The game is passed him by. 100%.
I hear you. But let me just say this: nobody on here is going to hold this against him, but they held a knee against him. It's those that didn't like what Colin did are going to utilize their platforms to hold whatever they want against him. So those of us that are thinking like we think, we're going to look at it for what it is.
Right.
Not what somebody else's narrative of it is. So I think that's what I'm talking about. I'm so tired. I'll be honest with you. And trying to keep it off of. This is out of sports even. I'm so tired of the narrative that other people have about us, and the power behind that narrative. And so we're calling it as it is for us. And there are others that no matter what we say, they're going to have something negative to say. And the fact that, you know, the previous president brought these people to the forefront where their voices are heard and their platforms for all of this, they're going to say all kinds of things. And honestly, I'm sick of hearing it. And so I don't want to hear them talk about, because it's bigger than Colin for me and for any of us in here. The whole situation was bigger. It wasn't about Colin until they took offense to the knee, but they never addressed what he took the knee for. So we still have that. Right. And so 7 years later, we still have that. And that's the part of me that just honestly, I don't want to have that argument anymore regarding Colin Kaepernick. Because they took that, what his stance, and then turned it into about
something
Colin,
that it wasn't.
Right. And here we are 7 years later with that.
And I gotta add this, Dave. Some of our people were vociferous in saying, "Oh, he's faking it. That was just to get money." I'm like, What have you done?
I was just about to say that. What have you done?
He put himself on the line. He put himself out there. I might not agree with everything he did or everything he says, but what are you doing? You ain't done nothing but text and tweet.
Right.
He phony. He fake.
Right, because fake recognizes fake, I guess, too. But
I like that.
You know.
But that bothered me. And it bothers me when we have people who have a certain amount of money within our community, and they do, and they generally are doing good things. His record of what he's done a lot with his money.
Yeah,
right,
and
not from anybody else's money.
Right. He didn't tweet a picture of a knee.
No,
he didn't what?
Tweet a picture of a knee. You know, he actually put himself out there, and he took the hit, and that's what we supported. You know, we always look for, you know, well, what are our athletes, what are our entertainers saying about these issues? And then, you know, to turn around and not support him, whether you agree totally with the methods, you know, that is besides the point. He's watching the game. I guess.
He's rooting for Boston. His brother.
Yeah, I'm listening. Y'all talking. I'm listening. Shit.
You can't be rooting for Boston, are you?
In this series, I am.
Is that a shot at Mac or?
In this series, I am rooting for. That's not a shot at Mac. I just think that Boston's the better team.
Wow.
And they actually just took the lead right now.
What?
4:42.
I was watching the end of the game.
They finally took the lead. It's about 5 minutes left in the fourth.
Yeah, roughly.
All right. Well, you heard my point about the Kaepernick thing and all that.
Yes,
stuff.
I was listening to you.
No. I'm just saying I basically said what I needed to say.
Okay. Well, I gotta tell you honestly, my thing is, wait, let me fix this. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we hear you. You sound clear.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Yeah, my thing is, I had said this previously. I said, you know, that time has passed. You know what I'm saying? And like you, Dave, I'm not wishing that. I'm not thinking that he can't do it. It's done. It's just done. You know what I'm saying? I think he's capable of doing it, but I just think the time has passed. To be honest, I'm done. I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? It may sound harsh or whatever, but I'm over it. I'm like, I just don't care anymore. Too much time has passed. You probably can do it. Who knows? If you can, I'm not mad at you. But me personally, I'm done with it. You know?
Yeah.
I just think in the world we live in now, and I hate to keep using the word appeasing, would it be if somebody did sign him, it would just be an appeasing thing? Like, we're getting ready to change military installations because it offended somebody, so we're going to appease people. We live in the appeasing world now. We skip over the issues, like Dave said. He took a knee 7 years ago, and some of the people that were on his side, I ain't gonna get into the politics thing, but Max knows where I'm going with this, with the knee and the kente clause. Everybody was taking a knee then, and where are they now? I always bring this up, guys, without picking sides. I had this conversation with somebody. You do know in this world you could be a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent, but until you start thinking independently, you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem.
That's a
because when you go back
Tom.
7 years ago, just like I went back to 2012, when you go back all these years, somebody in certain realms to get that shine and get that backing always disappears. They always we can blame how it happened. We could blame that. But going forward, where are all of those people now? Where are they?
Yeah.
Shit. You know, their mind is shifted to something else, another vote. That's all they're into. We gotta come to grips as Americans and as human beings that this shit ain't about us. I hate to go this direction, guys, but it's not about us. Matter of fact, it's never been about us.
Right.
It's been about one thing:
That's
power. Power.
Yeah.
I don't care what side you pick.
Power and money.
And that's all they were defending.
Exactly.
They were defending what they wanted.
Right.
You
But the people that were defending him, Reg, is where I'm going.
Right.
The people that were defending him disappeared in a blink of an eye.
But they wanted to be on the right side of a moment in history.
And they were on the wrong side.
You can't be in a moment.
No.
If you're in it.
That's right. That's the point. That's the problem.
And we live it every day, man.
On September 11th, 2001, the morning after that, everybody wanted security. That shit lasted a year until we wanted what we wanted. We wanted this, but we wanted that with it. You can't keep doing that. I don't care what side you pick. You're either on that team or you're not on that team. You're not fooling nobody no more. I mean, you are fooling quite a few. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
You know, but again, the Bible tells you be weary of, sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
And that's how they got people now. They'll ride that wagon for 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden it's on to the next thing and the next thing. Next thing you know, it's November. And we ain't heard about Colin Kaepernick in 7 years.
Like BLM, right?
It's sad. It's pathetic, man. It's pathetic all around. I don't care what side you're on. It's pathetic all around. And again, until we decide, enough is enough, the wheels on the bus go round and round. I didn't want to turn it into that direction, but
but you're right.
It's sad, man. It's actually sad. And too many people, like I said, when you go to vote, I don't care what your motivation is. But when you go to vote and you're constantly just picking one letter, don't come back bitching. Don't do it because you chose that horse.
Like we had a guy on who used to call into the show when we were on Blog Talk, and he said, "I'm reactionary because I decided not to vote."
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, so you just going to pull the same lever you've been pulling for the last 20 years since you've been an adult. You've been a Democrat, and you just going to pull that lever again. So who's the reactionary? Do you even know what the word means?
Right.
Yeah, it's sad. And in today's world, man, it could be a great issue, like Dave said. Now, if the issue was between me, Dave, R, Reggie, Mac, it would be different because we're not going to politicize it. We're going to come as normal people. We ain't getting nothing out of this. We're not trying to make this bigger than what it is. We're just giving the fact. But when you start trying to pull sides, then it gets lost. The whole conversation gets lost, guys. That's the part that, again, fellas, I ain't going to go back and, I spent 20 years, defending this bullshit. I ain't mad at what I did. But when I see how everything is now, we can't agree if the sun is shining and the shit's burning your eyes.
Word.
I mean, come on, man. Enough is enough. That's a subject for a whole other podcast.
Yep. A different show.
Hell yeah.
Celtics are going to win. No, it's tied.
It's tied. It's
It's
tied.
funny. I got my iPad above my phone trying to do two things at once, and I'm blocking the score.
Exactly.
And you making your points heard.
I will be.
Oh, yeah.
I will be honest though, guys. I was pulling for Miami. I think
Okay.
Me
Golden
too.
State and Boston might be a better game,
I just
but
feel like
I've been
Boston.
pulling for Miami because
know
they're
what
the
I
last
like?
team I got left.
Know what I like about this game?
What's that?
People talk about Jimmy Butler having disappearing acts, which is valid because he's balling out tonight.
Yeah, he is.
You know, he was injured too now.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
got putting a 40 piece on him. Kyle Lowry is
Fouled.
all
He just-
dinged out.
He just
Yep.
fouled out.
He needed to because he's about to injure himself again.
Looks like he's injured
Exactly.
Wow, he missed both.
But- And here's what I hate about the NBA: a
What's
close
that?
game like this is going to be decided by the
Ugh,
refs. I mean,
come on, man.
granted, he grabbed them,
Yeah.
but he grabbed them before the shot.
Mhm.
When this happened, you know, and
I'm
then
a-
if
I'm a
we
big-
throwing these.
I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan. The slander
Too.
he gets. Is
Oh, me
ridiculous.
too.
I like Jimmy Butler. Yeah.
Same
too.
man. What are you? Oh
Mhm.
my God. Ugh.
Say what you want, but I'll tell you what, he's one of those guys. I'm not going to say he's underrated. He definitely don't get the shine he deserves, but he's one of those
Wow.
guys you could put in a sandbox, and he's going to be Jimmy Butler.
Yep.
I don't care who's on his team, he's still Jimmy Butler, and that's what I like about him.
He's
He
gonna
plays
look like
hard.
he's been in the
Look at
sandbox too.
he just got an M1.
Yep.
Yep. Crazy. Look at. Oh my God.
That Riley the devil. Looking
Oh,
like
yeah,
the devil's
I
advocate.
keep forgetting that R is
Ooh.
rooting for Boston because every time I see something good for Miami, then I hear the
I
and I'm
can't.
like, how come he's not cheering?
It would be painful for me to watch Golden State and Miami because I hate both. I mean Golden State and Boston because I hate both of them.
I don't like the Celtics. Never liked the Celtics.
Me,
I'm not saying I like him, but I'm just saying in this series, I just like him. I'm like, okay. Oh, jeez.
on a happier note before y'all go to bed,
Uh-huh.
the Yankees still have the best record in baseball.
Sure, you're right.
Through all the injuries, all the ups and downs,
Mhm.
they still have the best record in Major League Baseball, and Miami got a steal. Oh yes,
And
Whatever.
Aaron Judge is tearing the covers
He
off
is.
the baseball.
ooh, and you
I'm
know
just-
what's sad? Not to change subject,
Uh-huh.
Stanton was finally having a good year.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
hurt.
Hopefully, he only be out for about 10 days, but they was bashing, and you know what? He was hitting almost 300. He
He
gave me
was.
flashbacks of when
What's
he
he
was
got,
playing in Miami.
He got 13, 14 home runs.
Yeah, he was actually leading the team in RBIs.
Mhm.
But there goes that injury bug. But I got to admit, guys, though I'm a Yankee fan, again, not to change subject, but I,
Uh-huh.
for one, never thought their pitching would be like this.
Right.
I'm sorry. I am a Yankee fan. Y'all know that.
Mhm.
I did not think. I looked at the numbers, man.
More
Third
fight.
in ERA, first in runs, first in average against.
Mhm.
I'm like, where did this shit come from? And what did I tell y'all? If Severino gets to be half of what he was, like getting a pick in the draft or something, or a trade in the
did.
deadline.
You
Yeah.
did
And
say
not
it.
to mention,
Yeah.
not to mention my boy Dave's team. I'm just pulling for this being that year. You
So-
know,
Right.
let's-
So
Yeah.
switching back to basketball, if Miami wins this game, it looks like they might because it's
Yeah.
104.99. It's a minute left.
Yep.
and they got.
Are they going to win Game 7?
Ooh, it's at home.
Oh,
That-
oh
that
no.
means that means nothing.
So it's
Because
You're right. You're right.
If
That
I'm
means
not
nothing.
mistaken, no team has won 2 games at home on the road.
Right.
Right.
So
Yep.
now we're down to 1-1 now, you know. So
Oh, you mean two games in a row on the
At
road?
home.
At home.
matter
Exactly.
of fact, I don't think any team has won 2 games in a row.
No.
These guys have beaten themselves up this series, and
Yeah.
my fear
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
is that going into against Golden State, you know, they're just really playing for who's going to lose to Golden State.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I got to admit, this for you NBA lovers, this has been an ugly playoffs. Let's just keep it a buck. This has been one ugly playoff season. I mean, look at this series. This is probably the closest game they've had.
Yeah.
20-point leads, 32-point leads.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Gervonta.
All right. Let me get this. This is a funny. Yo, did you guys see that video I shared with y'all in the group? Did anybody happen to see this thing with?
I saw it earlier today.
Yeah, Tank pushing this guy.
Okay, yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think that was I think that was scripted though.
Yeah, it looked it. You know, it did.
But it's still
cool.
funny.
But it was hilarious though. He was like just a little shove.
He was like, "How dare you stand slightly ahead of me?"
Exactly. But this is gonna be an entertaining fight. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be like Rock'em Sock'em. You Mac, you had said you don't think it's gonna go like 5-6 rounds, something like that.
Yeah, Gervonta has just got that. He reminds me with his in the way of his punching power. He reminds me of Bernard Hopkins the way he goes to the body. Not saying he fights
right.
like him. It's just that when he goes to the body, it just saps everything out of you. And
for
like
sure.
Jay has said, that his hooks are beautiful. He's gonna break Romero down, and he's gonna KO him probably between 4 and 8.
I can see 6. And let me ask you guys a question. So is he's officially leaving the money team, Floyd?
Right.
But I mean, I get it. He wants to do his own thing, and he's a grown man. He wants to break away from Floyd. Do you guys feel that this is a mistake, or?
It depends on what he's gonna do, who he signs with. Does he go sign a deal with what's the
Premier Boxing?
Yeah, if he signs with Premier Boxing, how is that deal going to be structured? And is he essentially his own man once he signs that deal and has his own entity?
Right.
It also depends on, now you got to make your own fights. You got to be more on the business side. Are you equipped now to do that? Because you could leave and then you get eaten up by the sharks that swim in boxing. A lot of them.
Exactly.
What do you think, R?
Well, just like you said, my thing is, if you're not equipped, it's a mistake. You should stay with the experienced guy for a little bit longer till you have a full handle on the business side of the sport, in which you can make that move. I can't say with confidence that he has that. I don't think he's ready for that. And we're gonna see the ramifications of this move, this decision at such an early stage,
My question is it on regular TV or pay-per-view?
Pay-per-view.
Of course. Of course.
Speak to R, Dom. He is the man when it comes to
he got the bootleg going on.
He got all kind. He got streams. Internet.
I don't. Well, you already know.
All kind of fire sticks.
Yeah,
stuff is levitating. He gonna bring you food too.
Damn.
They're not getting me.
There was a time, I hate to bring up my son, but that's how he was. If there was a will, he'd find that damn way, boy.
That's it, my brother.
He'd spend $200 on sneakers, but he wouldn't spend nothing on no fight. He'd find a way to get that shit.
He'd find a way to get it. That's my lane.
And he was into that, like, what is it, WW? I don't know what it is now, WWEF, whatever.
Wrestling.
Right. Yeah, he was into that. I had a hard time today. That's why I was sending y'all them pictures of them sneakers. I finally decided to, try to put them somewhere.
How are you now? You okay, bro?
Nah, hell no, guys. No, I ain't. I've come to grips. Yeah, I've come to grips. I'll be honest. I've suffered enough in my career So I come to grips with I'll never be the same. Nothing,
Yeah.
it ain't a bad thing. At least I've come to grips with it. Like
Right.
even talking to y'all, man, it's like
Mhm.
flashback because this is the shit we did, on a normal basis. Talk sports, shot the shit,
Mhm.
So yeah, but today was wild because I actually started going through all them sneakers, and I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do with all this shit?
Right.
Barely worn. I got to a brand new pair of damn throwback pumps. I'm like, what the? Because I never went through the boxes, guys. I just had them in a box. They were in the Nike box, but in a box. The people that packed it, I wouldn't go over there to pack. So the people that packed it just put stuff in boxes. So I never went through it. So today I'm thinking, it's getting a little hotter. I don't want to ruin them with the heat in the garage. Let me bring them upstairs, stack them nice and neat, put a chair or a poster, and kind of like hide it where it still looks like a TV room. But that was the first time in 7 months that I actually touched the shit. It was fun going away because I could remember how he, no sneaker ever touched the sneaker. That's why all the boxes were still intact because they would go right back in the box. And that was wild. But then I got to like number 35. I was like, oh shit, man, I'm getting tired. My back's hurting. Carrying
That's
boxes
like
up and down the steps.
me and R lost a friend a couple of weeks ago, and I knew him longer than R did, and just he designed logos. I did a lot. Me and Hollop did a lot of business with him, and he also was a friend. And I watched the video when we did Who's House. He was on there,
right?
But I know, I lost some people this year, so.
Man, please! I lost my mother-in-law and then my son 3 months later. But matter of fact, since you're talking about art, I'm gonna take pictures of the art he did because that's what he did. He was an artist.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you shared with us before some of his stuff. He was
I'm gonna send y'all some pictures of the stuff we had at a service. My wife put them in nice frames and let everybody take a look at them. So I'm gonna send y'all the pictures of that. Matter of fact, I got those in my room. So I mean, it's weird where you would think, like I thought at first, I didn't really want to see nothing that would bring me back. But, slowly but surely, I've at least, tackled that. But honestly, I mean, I don't wish this on nobody, not to turn this somber. I'm still the same funny guy. But at the end of the day, it's just different, man. That's why I love y'all so much. At least I got somebody to talk sports with.
Right.
It was just weird. Because you know how you always hear, and it's true to most extents, mother, kids, how they, but with me and him, it was like, I can't remember doing, as we're adults, I never remember doing much without him. Whether it was watching the games, going to the games. I told y'all guys, man, it took me 6 months to watch a football game. I couldn't do it because that was our day. Our day was Sunday. We get together, put on Red Zone, eat our asses off, fall asleep by halftime. So all those little things that we look at as little things, actually add up, But that being said, we try. I mean, we still got my other son, who is a polar opposite from that motherfucker. Oh, God. You got kids, right, Dave?
I have one son, and he and I have that similar type of relationship.
Right.
Yeah. My goddaughter is like my daughter, and she recently was reminiscing because me and her other godfather used to take her to Knicks games with us, and I would take her to other stuff. She said they didn't even know I had a crush on Spreewell. They would have killed me.
Wow.
Yo, no joke. My son used to love Ashanti.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that.
No.
You 30-something years old now, man. Come on. Can we move on from this shit?
Nah.
Yo, Dad, you never had a crush? Son, I've been married to your mother for 100 years. I
That's
think we're
my
beyond
crush.
the crush shit. I mean,
right.
But I used to laugh because don't let her come on TV. He called me, and he never called. He was one of those text junkies. So if he called you, you either got worried Well, you started laughing because something stupid is about to happen, because you don't pick up the phone. Once in a blue moon, he would call me, Dad, what you doing? Blah, 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 blah. But when he would, Dad, put on certain channel, Ashante's on. I'm like, we're still doing this shit, man? Really?
Yep.
How old are you, man? What are you, Nelly
Hey,
in the skies?
listen. Pam Greer's birthday was last week. Shout out to Foxy
Shout
Brown.
Foxy.
Oh.
Everybody's crush.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hey,
now suddenly Dom understands.
Yeah, I am fortunate. My
Nah,
I
my
hate to
crush
say
was
my
Jane Kennedy, bro.
Oh,
another one.
Boy.
Funny you bring that up.
Oh God.
I was in Germany, and she was doing one of these cosmetic things. And she was doing it at the PX. I wish we had cell phones back then, because I don't know what I did with the picture. Everybody went to the PX. I'm like, oh shit, that's Jane Kennedy.
Yeah.
I had the picture for years. But I'll tell you guys on the down low, my crush happens to have the same birthday as me. She's a couple of years older than me. Angela Bassett. Me and Angela Bassett. We were born. We're born the same day. I think she's born like 2 years before me. She's like 2 years older than me. 2 or 3 years. That's always been my, like, my down low.
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
She look good.
I kind of like
Look at Reggie. She look good.
She look good. Y'all gotta understand. She look good.
I actually met Jane Kennedy. That shit was crazy. I'm like, wow, because you see people on the covers and in the army, all the brothers had Jet magazines. So you see her in a Jet magazine. I'm like,
I got to meet one of my crushes, Vanessa Williams.
Ah, nice.
This dude pissed me off. I was ready to swing on him because they doing the Q&A at one of her movie premieres, and I was about to ask her a question. Dude jumped in front of me, and then they were like, "Well, that's all the time we have."
Oh wow!
So my friend, she lives. The theater was on 23rd and 8th. So
okay,
she grew up in that area and knew that movie theater. She said, "Nah, they're gonna try to sneak out the side door. Let's go over here." So we go and we waiting like a couple minutes for her to come through, and she stopped, very gracious, took a couple pictures with us, and I was like, "No, you're not getting away."
Yeah.
NFL today would never be the same.
Oh, and you know what's weird, Reg? It was after that she started doing the NFL on CBS.
Yeah,
I'm like, ain't this some shit? Because you just see pictures of somebody, but then when you meet them, and then you say to yourself, "Oh shit, she's on the NFL." And you know what? I was in Germany at that time. We weren't getting none of that shit. Somebody had told me, because we only had one channel, AFN, unless you wanted to stay up, till 4 o'clock in the morning to watch a damn football game. I did it. I did it for Dave's Mets. I told y'all that story, man. I was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning watching that '86 World Series.
Yeah,
man, putting my uniform on in the 7th inning. That shit.
I knew Miami was gonna win this game.
Oh, whatever.
Juniors in high school.
Whatever. Yeah.
Mark, we were junior in high school.
What year?
86.
Yep, we were juniors in high school. Right?
Okay.
Damn, I was already in the army.
I was 21.
I was already chasing the bad guys. God, y'all young.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
That's right.
You read for dodging the thugs.
Y'all was probably dodging more enemies than me. So at that time, we were
basically
chasing the Russians.
Gentlemen, I got to break out. So y'all have a great night. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I'm getting this game is over.
Well, since the game is over and just bounced. Like
a basketball.
At least he said bye.
At least he said bye.
Right. Because
he took his ball with him and went home.
Usually, what's the sound the iPhones make?
Oh, yep.
I leave it.
Yep.
Listen, we have a great holiday, Memorial Day. We can stay safe.
Yeah, me too.
Those of us that's in New York, especially, stay safe. Those of you in other places, stay safe, stay cool, because it's gonna be hot in certain places.
It's already hot here.
Thank you for joining us. This is In the Paint, really showing sports. Follow us on Twitter at In the Paint Media. Follow me
And hit the like button, damn
at
it.
the Real
And
Mac
Justin,
611. Right, hit that
yeah,
like button
hit that like button, damn it.
and
And
follow
on
our his Twitter is at God damn at Real RJ Jones.
and let's
And
not
please,
forget, people, don't say Happy Memorial Day.
Right.
Refrain from saying Happy Memorial Day. It's
Right.
not a happy day. It's a
Right.
remembrance. You know, do whatever you do, but don't say happy. I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but it's always been a thorn in my side when somebody says that shit.
Right. Check out our YouTube channel. It's In the Paint Media, In the Paint Media Group. Subscribe, share the show, please. If you like what we do, please share, please listen. You know, and Dave got all the teams up here. We saw Dom chilling wherever he was chilling at. We didn't see Reg in the car tonight or bowling.
And we got Carl to come on, my little nephew.
Right. Had the mad scientist on.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we meet again at the text.
All right, everybody. Peace and blessings.
Peace.
Thanks, bro.